Greetings everyone, and welcome back to our lovely town of Bootstraps here in Banished, and oh my god, isn't things looking a lot different than they used to? Aren't they looking a lot different indeed? Our town, it's all gone. Where did it go? Where did it go? Well, if you're looking in the upper left hand corner, you see we have more people than ever. And we have also, we seem to have packed up and moved. How unusual is that? Well, you remember how I was really hating on the fact that I couldn't reclaim the land from the quarry? Well, I'm kind of an extremist just a little bit. So you can see what we did. We built little houses, so we could build bridges, so we could build houses, so we could set up an entirely new town. But this town's better than the old town because this town is filled with stone housing. That's right, completely filled with stone housing. Absolutely. We even have our cows that made the journey. Now, I know, you're probably thinking to yourself, why did you just do all that not on camera? But don't fear. I wanted to show you the final result to prove that I'm not insane. And now I'm going to take you back through the journey of our lovely trek to this new glorious area and show you just how bootstrappy the lovely bootstrappians are in our town. To pick up and march over here and start a new life. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. Alright, so the first step in relocating everybody across the way is getting our infrastructure set up first. And that requires what? Does anybody know? It requires having materials to work from. Because if, for example, all of our materials are over here, then how on earth are we going to be able to trek all the way across to anywhere to build anything? It's not possible, it wouldn't make sense. So first step of our journey, that I have not shown on camera, is to get our trading post nicely stocked up. You can see we have 1,000 firewood, and we have 890 stone at the moment. Because stone is going to be very, very useful, firewood is going to be very, very useful, and so are stored logs, but unfortunately we don't have those yet. That's okay, that's okay. One of the great things about going over here, for example, is there is a lot of stone, and there are a lot of trees. So we can improvise with that. But we do need to get more stored logs over here. So let's, since we have almost 400 stocked up in our other town, let's ensure that we do have start slowly getting some stored logs over here as well. So we're going to logs, easily enough. I see we have 300. Okay, I see we have a not stored up, so let's just say I want 250 logs right now. Because we've got tools, everything can take the small hit in losing all of our wood. Okay. You can also see over here, though, I've begun thinking about how we're going to relocate. Our forester is going to be here. Another forester is going to be here. So here and here are our foresters, which if you're particularly clever, you can begin thinking about how we're already planning on laying out our area, given that these need access to our people, and our people need access to them. But alright. We've got that, but how are we going to start putting in our buildings? And again, we're doing on pause because we don't want everyone to come over here trying to build this and then dying of starvation before they can get back to our other area. That would be a bad thing. You can see from this strip right here, it's really hard, it's really difficult, but you can see that strip is the direction that our building is pointed. So to keep in mind, as if there was a road right here, right? We're not going to build it right now, otherwise, again, they'll come over and actually build the fracking thing. Alright, so here we are. Our Forester's Lodge is right there. We're going to put this on pause while we do this, because we don't want them immediately coming over before I cannot pause the creation of it. So let's go immediately into this. We need... Actually, no, let's do the hunting cabin first. Yeah, there we go. So our hunting cabin is here. Now, even though we can't see it, this would be wrong. It needs to be this way, because that's where the road has to be. Alright, so let's go and do something like this. Right next to it. And I figure... And then from there, I figure it's gonna go... straight over. So having the road right there looks like a good idea. So let's put a gatherer's hut right next to it. Let's see if I can... Yeah, I need to get this angled so I can see that little intersection. Okay, so this is the road. Like right there where it's not letting me place this. Not sure why it's letting me... Oh yeah, 'cause that's the road too. Okay. So yeah, this should be perfect, because it would go right to the edge of that building, which is what I'm looking for. So I'll place the gatherer's hut. We're going to pause these buildings, we don't want them built yet. Don't have the logs to do it for starters, that's the next thing on our list, that's why we're transferring them over. Alright, so we got those nicely built. That is the beginning of the infrastructure that we're going to be needing. Oh, also the homes, but we'll do that later. Alright, let's do the same thing with this little guy over here. Alright, so we have those 3 buildings placed in. Oh man, was that hard to do. Because I had to kind of sort of peek through the trees and don't have people to just come by and chop them all down, right? So that actually took a little while to do. But I think, let's test this out real quick. This is a building. Yep, that's a building. This is a building. And we should have a nice smooth road. Yep. You can see we have a nice smooth road over here. Building, 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 turn, and we're good to go. Hey, right-click to 2. Sweet. Okay, the pasture. We definitely need to take the 20 cows along. Okie dokie. That is something that I did not give quite enough thought to. I will freely admit, in my designs in my head, which you cannot see, I'm not entirely certain where the cows are going to be. Wow, did I really just rhyme all of that? Okay, so I think something a bit like this ought to do it for the pasture. Not sure if I can put it a little bit further down. Looks like I can by 1 hex, just 1 hex. So we're not completely at the edge of the map. We're really, really close. Close enough that I don't think it really matters. And let's double check to make sure that this is there. Okay, the corner of this is meeting just shy of that tree. Oh, that's perfect. See that? The outer edge is right here. We can even have a road, and it won't even touch the ring of the foresters. This is good. This is good. So yeah, this we have to be on pause as well. Alright, so that's going to be our pasture, because we've got 20 cows now. Keep in mind that we have to move. We have to do our best to move 20. Our little herd of cattle need to go completely across the way. Don't have any crops yet, so lucky me, this doesn't have to be rebuilt yet. But alright, for fishing, we're going to be here, here, and over there. Okay. So let's see if we can't do something about that. Now, there's... Can I put one more over here in case I want to? Okay, so if I need to, we can in fact have one there. The ring is over this way, so let's do this one first. Now, I need to get as much of the ring in the water as possible. That covers that, but if I put this down a little bit more... Nope. Looks like it has to be there. Okay. So fishing dock number 1 will go there. It doesn't matter where the roads are, because this is completely dependent on where the dock is. So the ring of that dock is there. Right at the... Come on. Right at the edge of that. Is there any marker that I can see here? Okay, yeah, there's a striation on the rock right there, and we need to be like 1 hex beyond that striation. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go take this. 1 hex is probably about that, so somewhere in here should be good. Alright, so in our brand new area, you can really see that I am completely bent on making a full-fledged town here, right? And you can see how large of an area that we're spreading out across. We've got our hunting cabin and our foresting area. They're all going to be feeding food into this general area. We're going to have people over here, and they're even going to be helped out over on this side, food from down here. So I think everyone's going to be able to get food. And because we're having this and this, I think everyone will be able to have firewood as well. But that's the next thing I need to think about. How did I set up my firewood again? How did I do that? That's point blank at the town, right? Yeah, point blank in the town. They just go straight down into there. At the edge of the circle even. That's a... We're going to be extended a little bit beyond that. Circle's going to be here. We're going to have people down in here. So our woodcutter's going to be back, probably hugging this mountain everywhere, right? Yeah, hugging this mountain we're going to have the woodcutters. Okay. Alright, so here's an example of how I'm actually moving things on over here, because you'll notice that the traders, let's see, I'll zoom in on this little guy. Yeah, these traders are responsible for moving goods from one area to another, but only having, let's say, the 1 person or 2 people working here, it kind of takes forever. That's where this little stockpile of laborers come from. Because I can tell them, as long as it's not too late, and it is actually late summer, so I'm going to save before I do this. Alright, so as long as it's not too late, I can tell a lot of people to suddenly become laborers, and if I have an order out for, let's say, the log which I'm trying to acquire, or the stone which I'm trying to acquire, is there anything else? It can take a little bit more firewood. Firewood is important for multiple reasons. One really important reason is we're using it as our main source of currency when purchasing stuff, because it has a 4-to-1 ratio and it's really easy to get. Alright, so now it's time to have some serious fun, because as hopefully you've seen in the beginning of this video, which I have not made yet, hopefully everything's going to go according to plan, and we are going to have an entire area here of stone houses. That is the dream. And if all has gone well, then you've seen that it's worked out exactly as I wanted it to. If not, well, guess you're gonna know before me? Sort of? Is that how that works? Anyway, so we're gonna start with our first stone house here, and I'm gonna cycle through them just to see what they look like, because I have never seen these things yet. That one's kind of bland. That one's not bad. Alright, I think I'm gonna like this one there first. Yeah, okay. So, now the question is, how many of these things do we need, right? Well, I can remember that I can see right there, actually. 2 people are gonna work there, 3 are over there, so we've got 5, and then 8. So we're gonna need 8 people, and there's gonna be, what, 3 per house? 2 per house, rather? So, do we really need 4 houses here? You know what, let's just try to live with just the 2. I forgot. Okay, let's... okay, I had that one. Let's do this one this time. Okay, let's pause you. Let's pause you. Alright, so we have 2 stone houses, and these things are going to be requiring a lot. Check that out, man. 40 stone, 10 iron, and 24 logs. The logs, thankfully, we can cut down to make these things from the other parts of the area that this circle doesn't affect. So I'm not really worried about logs quite so much, so I do intend to have a surplus of them. The stone and the iron, on the other hand, that's going to be a bit more tricky. Luckily, we do have iron deposits here and stone deposits there, and if you've been paying attention, there is a helicopter going over our head. I am sorry if you can hear that in video. Yeah, I live behind a hospital, and I hear this a lot. If you can't hear it, don't worry about it. Suffice it to say, I'm stocking up on iron and stone here. I'm stocking up on stone here. Look at that, I've already got 1,040. That we'll just say I don't want any more of, and they'll happily move to the stockpile as necessary. Pretty cool, huh? And iron, 250 iron already over there. So we're pretty prepared for this. But before we move the bulk of our town in, we need to set up these guys. We need our infrastructure in place to support the town, to make sure they don't all starve to death and die of the cold, die of exposure. That'd be really, really bad. So let's do some more of this on over here. Alright. Another little house. Turn her around. There we go. Make certain that there's space there. That's where the road is, and that's where the road is. I'm not really sure what you are, so I'm just going to click you there. Make sure we're still nice and in, and click you there. Pause both of those structures. Sweet. Alright, so we got the houses there, we got the houses there. This is already starting to come together. Now these houses are wooden right now simply because I need something immediate, and we're going to be changing all of this, don't worry about it. Well, except for the trading post. I think we're going to keep them in place simply because I like how they look. And I already have in place, mind you, the fishing docks that I'm going to be needing, right? That we can expand from. Okay, so we've got that, but what do we need now? We've got gatherers up, we've got hunters up. Just all we need is like unpause, get them the resources, and they're good. But we need a barn because they need to store the food. Now remember that I was like kind of overwhelmed with food from this one, so maybe have two barns. Maybe a barn for them and a barn for these people. So let's borrow this temporarily and say this. No, a little bit lower. Let's respect the mound. Let's respect the mound. Now, it just occurred to me that I could actually do this. It didn't occur to me until, like, just now that this was a possibility. Because this isn't built yet, right? So I can quite easily start laying things down and seeing how it looks. Then I can just cancel it all. I can just cancel all of this. We're paused. Oh god, we are paused, right? Yeah, we're paused. So there's no harm. No harm, no foul. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. Now this is definitely not going to be the case. We're definitely not going to have this there, but we do need this for alignment purposes. Okay. So we can see this goes to there and goes over to there. So if we want to do this, let's check out the circle. The circle is here. Now I'm going to put the barn just in this circle, which seems to be pretty good. The edge of this circle is right where that barn can be. I like that a lot.